I reserve.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Democrats and their allies on the left can blame Putin all they want. And it's partially true that Putin's war in Ukraine is partially to blame. But gas prices have risen every month of this administration. Every month. They were up $1 a gallon before Putin even invaded Ukraine. The real issue here is supply. And why do we have a supply issue? It's because Joe Biden, on day number 1, canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. That dried up all capital investment into hydrocarbon infrastructure. Maybe it's a problem because we cannot get the oil and gas to refineries to make sure that we have a supply. So what does Joe Biden do instead? Blames everybody else, goes to Venezuela and elsewhere and begs them to produce more oil, when just one administration before, under President Trump, we were actually a net exporter of energy. Biden and House Democrats have created this mess, and the American people know that. The American people will also spend, you ready for this fact, $5,000 this year on gas. $5,000 for the average American. That's a 78% increase from a year ago. In other words, Americans are spending over $2,000 extra a year on gas under Joe Biden. Blame who you want, but every time an American looks up and sees $100+ on that gas tank that he or she just filled up, they know who to blame: Joe Biden and Democrats. I yield 3 minutes to my good friend, the gentlelady from the great state of Texas, Representative Van Duyne.
Gentlewoman from Texas is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise to post the previous question so that we can immediately consider H.R. 6858, the American Energy Independence from Russia Act, to address U.S. energy security, the production of oil and gas, and the importation and exportation of oil and gas. Gas prices have already topped $5 per gallon, and economists are predicting that'll be $6 per gallon by August. Every American driving is paying nearly double since Biden took office, and that crisis is only getting worse. This administration should have seen this coming. You can say what you want, you can blame whoever you want. This administration is failing to recognize that its policies have had a direct result on gas prices. You don't block crucial pipelines. You don't block domestic infrastructure. You don't shut down drilling on federal lands, declare war on the oil and gas industry, and become reliant on Russian oil, and not expect prices to skyrocket and our global standing to weaken. This administration is obviously not going to do anything but make this crisis worse. So this body must act. The American Energy Independence from Russia Act will strengthen U.S. energy security, counter Russia, create American jobs, and protect domestic oil and gas dependency and production. Republicans have proposed countless pragmatic bills, including the Strategy to Secure Offshore Energy Act, which I recently introduced. This directs the Department of the Interior to publish the next 5-year plan for offshore oil and gas lease sales. We must hold this administration accountable as they continue to throw their hands up and blame everyone else for the energy crisis that they created. This bill will help provide the certainty necessary for continued investment in offshore production and support our domestic energy security. In my colleague's home state of California, gas has reached $9.60 a gallon. Surely we can all agree that that is unconscionable and must be addressed. I urge opposition to the previous question so that we can pass needed legislation to put us back on course to unlocking American energy independence. I yield back.
Gentlewoman yields back.
Reserve.
Gentleman reserves. The gentleman from California.
I reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just some quick facts. As Mr. Duncan stated, House Democrats have blocked consideration